Hello everybody and welcome into the gardens this Sunday the 26th of July I believe 2015. We've got a lot going on here. I've been pretty busy profiling those peppers all week. I've got a few that are ripening up so they'll be ready for next week, and yeah, lots of other little things on the go. Like I said last week, there's these channel improvements I want to be working on and things like that. Haven't quite gotten around to that, and yeah, I had mentioned I was going to be making a few less videos. Turned out that wasn't exactly the case last week, but you know, made a few people happy. I was supposed to be putting out 8 videos last week, I think is what I was told. I may or may not have covered that. Not entirely sure, you know, but you can check the last postings if you want to find out for sure on that. But you know, for those of you who have been watching a few of the things, you know, we've picked up a few different plants along the way over the course of the week. A couple of really screaming deals. Got another couple up front that I got to do for the semi-permaculture project on Clean Valley Farms there. But you know, yeah, when you see, you know, things they're practically giving away, it's really hard to say no. Let's take a look around the backyard here, take a look in the greenhouse, and maybe, you know, we'll have a chance to get to the front yard before the rain comes. Alright, let's get started. So here are those 24 pepper plants in a tote from the, 32 that I picked up for a whopping dime. As you can see, most of them are doing alright. Got some deficiencies going on. I still haven't watered with some Epsom salts or anything, but a lot of these Tabasco peppers are starting to produce fruit for me. So that's going to be really exciting. I look forward to profiling those because, as I've mentioned before, I've never had a fresh, raw Tabasco pepper. Some of these Scotch bonnets are starting to form fruit, and some of the habaneros, but it's pretty touch and go with most of these plants. For 10 cents though, what do I expect? Up beside it here you can see the Golden Cal Wonders. These are the 3 that we got from the Big W for the $12. They'll be getting profiled in the next couple of days. How's the color on that, eh? Not exactly gold, but very beautiful orange. Now beside it here we've got one of the random Kung Pao hybrids. Here in this air pot we've got the smaller of the poblano peppers. I did end up moving that over. Got one of the ghost peppers here in front of it. No fruit forming on that yet. Looks like maybe a bit of a flower start up at the top if the plant or the camera will focus. So we might see fruit on that yet this season. The Tangerine Dream is looking very nice, but still not producing anything. That's a very tight cluster in the top though. I might want to go in there and prune out the middle of that. This particular long red cayenne is not looking very happy. This one might be harvested and headed for the compost. I have quite a few of those around, so I'm not too worried about it. Kind of lost track of what this pepper is. Might be a banana. Really not sure anymore. Here's the jalapeno jalapa hybrid. This is an interesting little pepper. Kind of a stubby jalapeno. And as you'll notice, they do actually change color when they get properly ripe. The early jalapenos I've got going in the tote also have one that started to change color, so I'll be able to profile them soon. Here we've got one of the red demon peppers, and I don't know. These guys have been at about this stage of color for a couple of days now, so I'm thinking they mean like really dark orange. Or what I think of as red is really more of a crimson. But there are plenty of fruit on this one. Doing much better than the red demon that's out front. Those extra couple of hours of sunshine in the front yard are just too much for a lot of these plants. The bushes and such, they seem okay with it, but the pepper plants, not so much. So those 3 banana peppers from the Big W, just busting over with fruit. That's so awesome. So these guys will be getting profiled next week, that's for sure. Here's that El Jefe pepper. Moved to the back, joining the rest of the group here. And what a group it is. Here are the early jalapenos from the Big W. A lot of fruit on those plants. But as you can see, a nice ripe one there, ready for the tasting. And speaking of ripe peppers, down here in the freaks, We've got one going nice and red too, so I'll be able to taste that in the next week or so. I still have no clue what this volunteer mystery squash is, but it's getting way too big for its little cage. I'm thinking about maybe putting it up on that sunflower over there. Anybody know if a squash will climb a sunflower? I guess we're gonna find out. You can see I haven't watered these guys yet today. They're getting a little wilty. But if you look inside, you can see some nice red ripe peppers in the freaks here too. Very, very happy with this particular strain of pepper plant. Happy accident that it was. Now, if I can stabilize that, I'll be a very happy bear indeed. Still getting massive amounts of fruit on this orange habanero that I saved from a grocery store seed, but as of yet, no orange. So, probably going to be another week or two before I can show those in the profiles. Gnome garden is doing exceptionally well. Indigo rose right there, it's just got so much fruit on it. However, I am going to be pulling up these beets fairly soon, so I want to get started on a winter crop of carrots. So that'll give me the opportunity to finally make that seed tape that Luke at MI Gardener made there. Again, that indigo rose tomato plant doing exceptionally well. Let's check out the front yard before it starts to rain, and then we can head into the greenhouse. Unfortunately, the extra sun in the front yard was too much for that elderberry. It hadn't developed quite enough rooting yet. But I do still have one going in the aquaponics, and there's two in the gnome garden, so it's okay. Did some cutting back on these gojis, and it doesn't seem to have phased them one bit. No fruit this year, but maybe next. Here's that black lace elderberry getting kind of crazy. Kind of crazy indeed. Now here's the red demon pepper in the front yard, and I had mentioned this isn't doing anywhere near as well as the one in the back. Sure, a lot more of the peppers have ripened, and as you can see, they're not really what I would call a red to me. That's just an intensely dark orange, but we all see color a little bit differently. But the leaves are dropping off of this thing at an incredible rate. I just cannot seem to keep enough water in it. If we look behind it though, how's that indigo rose looking for production? There are 5 plants there and 1 in there, and all of this came from 3 seeds. I love a nice productive plant. But as you can see, we've got some clusters down here at the bottom that have started to take that ripe color. For those of you who have these growing, that's kind of what you're looking for. The purple's not really going to change. It's the areas that are green that are going to go to your dark orange. And that is when you harvest yourself a beautiful, delicious, tasty, fabulous indigo rose tomato. Look at them all. That's great. Here you can see those 2 red chili peppers that I've got planted in the old worm bin. They're definitely growing up quite nicely. Starting to get fruit set. Really excited because it looks like there's going to be more fruit than plant on these. A few weeks to wait there though. Alright, let's go check out the greenhouse. So the aquaponic system, probably going to be doing some dramatic changes here in the very near future. Don't know for sure when that's going to be or what that's going to entail, so if you want to know, just kind of stay tuned looking for things that say aquaponics. But I need to merge these 2 systems into a singular garden, so it's going to be interesting. There's the pepper shrine along the back. Those coffee can self-watering containers seem to be working pretty good for the most part. But I am liking the look of those ones I picked up from the Walmart. If they go on sale even cheaper, well, you know I'm getting as many of them as I can. Look at the height of that $10 pepper. That thing is tall. Oh wow, what's this guy? Is that like an all-black wasp pollinating my pepper? I'm trying to get closer to that thing. Okay, kind of a funky and creepy looking critter. If anybody knows what this black thing is, feel free to let me know. Comments are a great place to do that. Alright, well, as long as that little guy's pollinating, I guess I don't really care that much. Now, here's the indigo rose tomato in the aquaponics. This is all a single plant. Well, there's the Malabar spinach too, still looking pretty deficient. But I've got some pretty hungry plants in this garden. And not a lot of fish. So, you see a lot of fruit here, right? But one thing I'm noticing is that with the aquaponic garden, the fruit isn't ripening anywhere near as fast as it is with the ones in the front. And I think that's a matter of heat. My water is fairly cool. I've just got goldfish. It's not like I'm heating it in the summer for tilapia or anything. And I think that basically the cool water is keeping it to a point where the tomatoes just are growing but not ripening. So I think for these guys to ripen, I'm actually going to have to harvest the big fat ones and just take them inside and put them on a counter. If anybody else is growing tomatoes in aquaponics with cooler water, have you noticed anything similar going on with your tomato plants, or is mine just a freak? You know, let me know. Here we've got the peppers that I put in the aquaponics. These things are looking great. Scotch bonnet on the left up front here, and then we've got the cherry bomb pepper on the right, and then we've got 3 Tabascos along the back. Let's move this cucumber leaf aside for a second here. Hopefully you can see some of the fruit that are forming on these things. Very exciting, very exciting. Now let's talk about that cucumber for a second too. Look at that. It's kind of attacking the fan a little bit and moving its way through the netting at my so-called window. But I'm having some issues. That cucumber totally died off. Now where's the other one? But this cucumber's just rocking it. So I have no idea what's going on. If anybody has any thoughts there, please share. Alright. I need to trim this tomato back a little bit. It's getting quite hard to feed those fish. And even harder to get you a shot of them through the jungle. So I'm going to have to trim that back, I guess, next couple of days. It'll look nice though, maybe trim off some of this stuff here too. I think I'm just babbling at this point, folks, though, so thank you for joining me on this Sunday look into the gardens. I hope you have yourselves a fantastic week ahead. Thanks for watching, everybody.